G'day superstars, happy new day. Here's to a good coffee, or something better than a coffee. After watching a bit of Barbara O'Neill, looks like coffee's on the way out. So let's have a chat, or if you just want to listen, or just find someone else to listen to and watch, I'm cool with that too. When I was doing this live on Instagram, it was a coffee and a waffle of wisdom, or an insight cookie. So making up the coffee and just looking out there into the world, and I was just admiring the wonderful work of nature in its forms. And it came to the want, or it'd be good to have, or geez, that'd be nice, or I'd like to. And there was content somewhere on there, here on the YouTube, about when you say you want, or you this and that, the universe is a mirror, right? If any of you are familiar with this information, it's probably why you clicked on this video, right? My understandings through life experience about manifestation and laws of attraction, right, is every time I say I want to be leaner, or I want to be in a relationship, or I want to find a place where there's people who are just not so caught up in all this hoo-ha, right? Want, and geez, it'd be nice, and I'd like to have this and like to have that. The universe, or cosmic collective, or powers that be, or God, or whatever your reference is, it's pretty much the same thing, right? Says, yes, you do want that. Yes, you do want to have these things. You're right. And it was in that very moment of me reflecting on hearing that this morning, right now, when I looked out and went, that's, what would you say, tidy, right? I wonder what she's like. I wonder if she has a conversation, and, it'd be good to interact with someone where both of you find each other appealing, okay? That'd be nice to have. And the universe says, yes, it would be nice to have. And yes, we understand, or the cosmic collective, right? So yeah, we understand that you want these things, and we want to give it to you. However, see, this is where sort of my realizations of stuff came into play. That little, what's the missing piece of all of this? And it was almost like I got told the secret. Or maybe it was just my imagination. But I'm going to share with you what I felt, what I heard, or the intuitive knowing in that very moment. Like, oh, that makes absolute sense. Right. So we go back to you or me, we all having these wants, okay? And the universe says, yes, we know, we've got a list of all the wants of all people, all in the world. Unfortunately, we just, based on the rules, based on the laws, we can't give it to you until you do certain things in a certain way. Hurry up and get to this juicy part, will you? Alright, fair enough. Stretched it out long enough, haven't we? So I got told just this morning, that until you become the space, I mean, you don't have to listen, but I'm going to sit up for this because this is what I heard, or this is what I felt. Okay, whatever it is, but it was that I was literally just given the clue. Until you become the space of which we can place that which you desire, all it will ever be is that. Now, what if that maybe is a bit too much of a cryptic statement for you? What does it mean? Let's break it down. Well, let's just say, can you see that there? You and I, well, that's what we are. We're storage containers, in a way, in our heart, in our emotional bank, or mental bank, or spiritual bank. Okay. And if it's full of gunk, then, and full of all of these wants, it's all cluttered, then how can you put anything nice in there? And if you do put anything nice in there, the minute to get it in there, it becomes damaged. Doesn't last. Does that make sense? Because it makes absolute sense to me. I've had good things come into my life and not last. And I always just thought, oh, I'm cursed, or I don't deserve this and that, and la 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 la, woe is me, this type of stuff. Turns out, I just didn't have the right space for the things that I desired and want to exist. So when I say, until you create the space for that which you desire to be placed, it will always be that. Always be that is, it'll always just be that thought of wanting. How about that? For a little bit of coffee, you can see in my eyes, I've only just risen, not too long ago. And that's just it. That's the bit about letting go. Or we could double up and inject another realization is, that's what letting go is about. It's the decluttering of all of your insecurities, which is basically uncertainty. And then what is uncertainty? It's the not knowing. Not knowing precisely what will be. Okay. So that's basically, we could call that the cosmic definition. It's not knowing precisely what will be. That's uncertainty. That's part of insecurity, right? Because you just don't know. You don't know, or I don't know 100% what that. So it's in that moment, if we let go and let be, see, that's the tricky part. I was listening to a guy there talk about walking in your power, and I was like, what's he mean walking in your power? Because he kept saying that, walking in your power, living in your power, walking in. And I just kept going, what's he talking about? What's he talking about? And then I was like, your power is your certainty. Because that's, if I'm certain about something, and there's a whole bunch of turmoil and everyone's running around, so, what are you doing? The world's coming to an end, and you're certain and you have a confidence that, no, I'm good. So there's a power in that. So that's what he meant, and that's what it is too, about when you let go and let be, that you stay in your certainty, and you could call that maybe your faith, your trust. There's a power in that, because you're unwavered, right? True or false? I think it's true. How about you? So yeah, I could call it a coffee and a chat with the Cosmic Collective. Let's go. Let's do. That's a good little title. Might be something else. Mushroom tea. I think had enough of coffee, and even though it gives you a good little buzz, it's actually not the best for you. It's a neuron toxin. Did you know that? Yeah. Check out the history of coffee. When I found that out too, I was like, well, this is actually a little bit evil, or a bit manipulative. How the coffee break came around into the industrial world. Look that up. That's very interesting. There was a guy on Joe Rogan that brought that information up. But yeah, that's my understanding. That's my, I don't know what you might want to call it. I don't really like the secret stuff, right? I just want to be authentic and genuine. Maybe use clever words cleverly and in a smart way, but not in a manipulative way, okay? Or an interesting way, captivating way, things like that. Like I said, coffee and a chat with the Cosmic Collective. My understanding, or the behind the scenes from the powers that be, about how manifestation and the laws of attraction and all that actually works. So we'll do a recap if you're coming in late on this. It's about making the space, or creating the space in you and in your reality. See, you guys might be looking and go, oh, he's under a tarp. Like, why should we listen to him? That's up to you. I don't need to justify it. Okay. But this is all I need. So that I could say, yeah, I would like better. For sure. I'd certainly welcome that. And there's space for that to occur. But I'm also, there's a contentment. Like, I'm not sitting here looking around at my little setup and going, oh, this is, fire truck, stale fruitcake, burnt toast. I know that I've led myself into this scenario because I'd rather it be this way to a certain degree. Like I said, if it was feasible and valid to create something better and more permanent, then I'd be all over it. And it would be just something made out of pellets or recycled wood and has some windows and a screen door. That would be me. That's pretty much all I'd need. High roof, definitely. High roof. Keep the rain out. I'm okay with all the frogs and the spiders and the beetles. A little light. Somewhere to cook. Somewhere to sleep. The ability to have enough space if company ever wanted to join me in my way of being. You could call it living, but I think this is a way of being. Now, with the power of editing, I can just keep talking here, which is part of what I do these videos for is expression of the self, expression of the mind, so I don't have all this clutter in my storage box. Okay, so that's a good way of looking at it. Well, what's in your storage box? You could say what's in the basement, what's in the attic, what's in the cupboards. So people go on about unhealed trauma and so on and so forth. Well, there's a truth to that, but really what it is at the fundamental is, what are your most prominent thoughts? Go there first. And then it's about, from there, I feel it's just a part of it's not necessarily forgive and forget. It's more forgive and accept that what occurred. And it only exists in the traumatic state because we invest our energy into it being replayed as an event in the now. Even though you might be thinking about the past. Because it's taken me a bit to actually these type of things myself. Like something that happened 5 years ago. And the class, if I had done this, if I had done that, la 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 la, she did this, she did that, or I did this, I did that. Constantly replaying a moment that truly no longer exists. It only exists because of the energy I invest in it being. Yeah, there you go. It being so. Yes, it was so. Listen to me, if you choose to. I'm listening to me because this is healthy. It was so. All the shit that I did. Stupid things. Coulda, shoulda, woulda done better. Right? And I had the ability to. It's not that I didn't know, but I guess it wasn't evolved enough, really. That's what I'm talking about. I had clutter. I still had clutter. So there's all these good things, and that if there was just all this, because it couldn't fit in my space at that time in the best way that it could, because I still had a whole bunch of crap in my storage box. So I would say, as much as things get upsetting with other people and yourself and so on and so forth, I would just say, hang on. What have I got going on in my storage box? And the good thing could be that relationship or that job or that circumstance actually fades out. And that's part of the new space being created for good things to come into your world. So as I said before, forget and accept. or not even having to forget, really. It was just accepting that that was once so. And it need no longer be. Right? It need no longer be. Unless I decide to invest mental energy and probably spiritual and emotional energy into a moment that no longer is. Because it's not beneficial. So I'm not saying you can't go back or you can't invest your mental and spiritual, emotional energy into moments that once were that brought you joy. Because it has a different side effect. It's not a trauma. It's like, when was it? How can laughing and having a good time be traumatic? It can't. It just can't be. It doesn't correlate. It doesn't exist. And it's in that, right? It just then, it was like, you're getting it. You're starting to get it. See, the richness, I feel, it comes from you in your being. It comes when you can just be and literally be. There's this contentment. And people are like, you don't have much, but like you see people in certain countries where they go and visit, they're like, they don't have much, but these people are super happy. Because they're just not worried, okay? They're not investing energy in thinking about what was once so that no longer is. Where there's a distaste about it. Does that make sense? I think I'm making sense. So when I said about the way you're living or the way you're being, it's when I look around and people, oh, you're homeless or you're this and it's like that. I don't think any of that actually exists. That's just a label or a way for people to categorize the way certain people be, so that they can feel comfortable in accepting or not understanding that. So this is my way of being. And visually, it's not visually pleasing, and that's like a little bit, that's a little, that rubs me a little bit. But it's adequate, and this is not like permanent. I'm just traveling through. But it could be better. And in a way, it's good because I look, I'm like, oh, that could be improved, or we'll tackle that tomorrow. We're doing little things here and there. But just from my perspective, and I'm not out in the whoop. Okay, 80 k's down the road that way is a major town. 60 k's around there is actually the capital of Australia. Okay, we've just got a nice little pocket. So it's just choices. And I look and I've been judgmental and I've been critical, but that's how those people or that person choose to be. how they choose to be doesn't interfere with me. It only interferes because, once again, I invest mental and spirit and emotional energy into the judgment of how they're being. That's the only way it affects me. So you might see people come in with their fancy cars and they do like little loops because there's a little community here, and they probably come in and they're probably casting judgment and, oh, why is this and why is that, and they go back to their reality, and they actually may not be happy with the way that they live, right? I mean, then maybe they come and have a look at, they go, oh, let's go have a look at the homeless people, so that they can make a comparison where they feel that they're more superior because they live in a modern orthodox way. Your way is your way, and the way I feel to ultimately be is the way of nature. To me, that's the hierarchy, that's the pinnacle. Modern society is artificial. It's manipulative and corruptive, and it's a falsehood. And yeah, it seems a little contradicting right now because I'm using a phone to portray this, isn't it? And that's the thing. I would suggest be wary overly investing into people who speak like this, but may not necessarily live in a way that's congruent with how they're speaking. So some of you out there may have bailed really early because, oh look, he's homeless, why am I going to listen to him? And instead you'll listen to someone speak like this and they're in a studio or they're in a unit or they're in Bali, la 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 la, and they're going, oh, be with nature and this is the way to be, or they're out in their backyard. Meanwhile, when you look behind, they live in a mansion. So in a way, that's contradicting. That's false. It's a facade. It's only being presented to you in that way because that's where their attention is. There's a commodity in attention, right? It's currency. It's to pull you in, and you're all thinking that you're out there following and supporting this wonderful person, and they could be a wonderful person, but they could also be living a bit of a lie. So I was always putting myself in a position that I don't have all of these bells and whistles. So how can I speak? How can I come from a position to speak in a certain way and share with people my insights about life, about laws of the universe, about the cosmic collective, because of my way of being. Like, it doesn't fit the mold, it's not fancy, right? And then I thought, it doesn't matter. What matters is being true. Being a little unscripted and living in the way as close as I can, okay, within the way that it's structured, because there's the laws of man, within the laws of nature. That's just the world I'm in, right? I tell you, I just watched the movie again called Apocalypto. Can you imagine living in that world? Now that's the way of nature. That's living in the way of nature. There's little communities living their way, being their way within nature. Right? Then the Spanish came and under the banner of Christ, right? So that's the other thing out there, is rigid ways of thinking, and once again, like I said, the manipulative and corruptive ways, very lineal. There's a lot of good stuff out there in the religious text, and it's a bit like what we're talking about, or what I mentioned about the cosmic collective, about understanding how to be in congruence with nature, and that's where all the magic is. It's just very cryptic. It's very cryptic. And people think it's Peter, Daniel, Paul, Matthew, Mark. I'm going out on a limb, but I think these are just all they're just references to create a story, to tell the truth within the story. But the story itself is not the truth. You know what I'm saying? If anyone out there picks up on that, you'll realise, oh. The truth is within the story, but the story itself is not the truth. And I know we're going around the oval a bit, haven't we? So we'll come back to the drink stand, and we'll call it a day. So I'm changing the catchphrase up. I'm going to say, be good, be kind, be the best you can, look after yourself, look after nature. See you.